Hey, what's up, everybody? This is DJ Keo, and I kind of wanted to talk about Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan. I know this is a music channel, and I talk about DJ stuff like that, but every so often there's a cultural thing that I think bridges the divide, and their topic of cancel culture, I think, is it affects everybody, and I think is ridiculous. I've made videos about this before. I talked about Morgan Wallen. I talked about Michael Jackson. I did a video about R. Kelly. All very controversial videos, and some people agree with me, some people don't. But I think that the core response is still that I don't think it's a good idea long term to say that people aren't allowed to exist in society because you disagree with something they did or said. And the thing is, too, with cancel culture, it is probably the most petty reasons why people have decided that you can't exist. I mean, for me, like a issue of R. Kelly, like I get why people would be like, well, I don't want to ever hear his music again. Like I respect that. I totally understand that. And for the most part, I probably agree with, that assessment. But, you know, people like Morgan Wallen, well, the dude was drunk and he said something stupid. Why would you ban him from Spotify and music stores and you won't give him an award or like this is stupid. That is dumb to me. There needs to be a point where there is ability for people to have disagreements but still be allowed to exist. We're Society is getting really polarizing, and it's not in a way that I think is helpful for anybody long term. The people who are gathering the pitchforks to go out and take care of somebody or get rid of somebody, these people can't live by their own rules they set. And every time that one of these things boomerangs back on one of the loudest people who are crying about it, a good example of this is Sarah Silverman. She was one of the pitchfork people. See, okay, we gotta set this up. Sarah Silverman is a comedian. She's one of the people who did the shock comedy, to say the most outrageous, the most racist, the most incendiary thing you could say, and then be like, "But I'm a comedian," and she laughed about it. And then she realized, "Oh no, this thing's gonna come for me eventually." So she became the wokest, most pompous person complaining about, you know, we gotta we have to stop because people feel bad about things people say. She's one of these people, and she changed her comedy, went on a tour about healing the country or whatever, and then she realized, like, oh wait, that's not good enough. They're gonna come for me anyway. So now she's on the, well, we can't cancel people. Everybody, this is wrong, and people should be allowed to say what they say. This kind of thing annoys me to no end. It's pervasive in the music industry, is pervasive in entertainment as a whole, and DJs are susceptible to this thing as well too. I don't think that this is the type of thing that you can just bury your head in the sand and be like, well, this doesn't really affect me, so it's fine and go on with my life. You can't get away from it. Think whatever you said on your Instagram or your Twitter 5 years ago, 10 years ago, is being held against you at a job. It's being held against you in public opinion for housing or whatever else. This thing is a snowball out of control. I've always had the stance that I think that comedians should be allowed to be edgy and say what they say. I used to listen to Eddie Murphy. I like George Carlin. People talk about Lenny Bruce back in the day. This dude went to court to be allowed to do comedy, and he lost battles, he won battles, but to make anything edgy today couldn't be possible without Lenny Bruce and these kind of pioneers from back in the day. And the same thing for the music industry. None of this stuff is possible without Two Live Crew and Public Enemy, and even Ice T and these guys were battling to get some kind of recognition that you should be allowed to say wherever you want, and art is art. I'm from the standpoint that art is art. Like, you need to let artists be and let them do their thing. And I've always said that my thing about it is that if you do not like it, don't listen to it. It'll go away. My personal feelings about, Cardi B and WAP and stuff like that. I think WAP is terrible. I think it's one of the worst songs I've ever heard from a social standpoint. Like, why are we glorifying this kind of stuff? But like at the same time, I'm like, Cardi B's allowed to say it, and I say if I don't like it, well, I just won't play it. I think that people need to take a stand and be like, well, I don't like this. I'm just not going to support it, but I approve of your ability to say it and do what you want with your own free will. It used to be a thing that went beyond lines of politics or whatever. I don't I don't think that it used to be a political thing, but it seems to be that's where we are right now. I don't subscribe to that at all. Um, I've always been a fan of hip hop, and hip hop has always pushed the boundaries, saying stuff that you weren't allowed to say, or same thing. And rock, and they had the same issues. They were pushing the boundaries, trying to do stuff. And I think a lot of people who got bad reps for stuff were trying to be meta, or too they're trying to portray something and try and put a message out there using this method to do it. There's people like Eminem who just saying shocking things just to say it. I don't really. And I've listened to this guy's albums, and I listened to a lot of his music. I don't think that he had a particular message behind the stuff he was singing. Is more of about being shocking. Now, that's not to say he didn't have songs where he was saying something important, but he was generally just trying to shock you and get people to kind of look at him and listen to his music, or whatever. But and that's fine. I don't. That's the thing, though. I don't have a problem with it. I think that people need to be able to express themselves wherever they way. If you do not like it, do not buy it. And that was my stance for the Morgan Wallen guy. I was like, hey, you're going to say something crazy? You should have a chance to redeem yourself. And we shouldn't be in a place where we're trying to make people disappear because they don't agree with politically, or you don't like the type of music they make, or whatever. Like, this is not a good place to be long term or short term. And the reason why I got into this is because Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan had a podcast, and Joe Rogan's in the middle of being canceled. Dave Chappelle was canceled, or they tried to cancel him because of some stuff he said about some groups. And I don't like where this is going. I feel like you don't like it, don't listen to it. Dave Chappelle made the point that there is no position that you can take that will be enough to appease the mob. The mob is always going to be angry and looking for the new fresh thing until the snake turns around and eats its tail. Like, it's this thing of you're always, it's a insatiable thirst, if you will. And you've given power to people who didn't deserve to have power or didn't earn power. You gotta look at like an angry mob just chasing after people, and people are not sure why they're mad. They just know you're supposed to be mad right now, and focus your anger over here. And this is what's happening in, I think, culture right now, and especially in music and politics and stuff. Like, everybody's angry and everybody's trying to take their frustration out on something so they can feel good or better about themselves. And this is one of those things. I don't subscribe to it. I think this is having mob rule over social issues is a terrible idea. It couldn't be a worse idea. So, um, that's my take on it. I think that music and art is better when there's freedom, and I think that cream rises to the top. you look at current music right now. This it's not. It's manufactured. There people are being pushed. It's not like a natural thing of everybody's going over here looking for this thing. It's 100% being pushed, and that's a whole other topic to be had. But even still, stuff I don't like, I think that you need to have the right to make it, and the things that you do like, support that. You don't like Joe Rogan, don't listen to this podcast. You think Dave Chappelle is, you know, phobic of whatever, don't listen to his comedy show. Don't support his thing. But I think both of these people should be allowed to be on Spotify and should be allowed to be on Netflix. And Elon Musk should be allowed to be on Saturday Night Live. Hey, yeah. You know what? Let me know what you guys think about this. If you like to support the channel, you can buy something from my t-shirt shop. That's djkeo.store. I simplified the address and made it easier to find, as well as you can buy something from Instagram, djkeo_. My store's there, as well as on my website. I appreciate everybody who supported the channel through the years and got new designs and new stuff is coming soon. Link is in the description as always. And I thank you for watching and peace out, bitches.